The photograph is black and white, his wife's face, framed in silver, hanging on a billionaire's wall. "Get your black hands off my property." The words hit Wesley like a slap. Preston Calloway III stands in the doorway. $3,000 suit, eyes cold as old money, looking at Wesley the way a man looks at dirt on his shoe. "Sir, I was just cleaning." "You were touching things that don't belong to your kind." Preston steps closer. $14 an hour. That's what we pay you people. To clean, not to touch, not to look, not to think. Wesley lowers his head. "I apologize, sir. My watch costs more than your life, boy." Boy. Wesley is 36 years old, but to Preston Calloway he will always be boy. Yet 3 hours later, that same poor black husband stands in a billionaire's hospice room, holding a photograph of his wife, dated 40 years before she was born. "Why is my wife's photo in your mansion?" The dying billionaire's answer will shatter everything. His marriage, his identity, and a murder buried for 40 years. The alarm screams at 5:15 a.m. Wesley Monroe does not hit snooze. He swings his legs off the bed. The floor is cold beneath his bare feet. The apartment is quiet except for the hum of the old refrigerator in the kitchen. Beside him, his wife Denise sleeps with one hand resting on her belly. 7 months pregnant. Their first child. A daughter they have already named in whispered conversations late at night. Wesley stands in the bathroom, splashes cold water on his face, studies his reflection in the cracked mirror, hands rough from years of bleach and industrial cleaners, back straight from pride that refuses to bend. 36 years old. 3 jobs, 60 hours a week. $14.50 an hour. He is not building a career. He is building a nursery in his mind, one paycheck at a time. In the kitchen, he starts the coffee maker. The machine gurgles and hisses, filling the small space with the smell of cheap grounds. Denise appears in the doorway, wrapped in a faded blue robe, rubbing sleep from her eyes. "You're up early," she says. Her voice is soft with morning. "Always am." She waddles to the table, one hand supporting the small of her back. He pours her decaf. The doctor's orders she pretends to hate. She makes a face but drinks it anyway. "Big estate job today?" she asks. Wesley nods. "Calloway Place, out past the old mill district. The agency says it's a one-day job. Good money if they like my work." "Fancy people?" "The fanciest. Old money, the kind that builds hospitals with their name on the door." Denise wraps both hands around her mug. "Just be careful. Those kinds of people, they look at us different." Wesley reaches across the table, takes her hand. "I've been invisible my whole life, Denise. I know how to move through their world without making waves." She squeezes his fingers, then reaches up to fix his collar. A ritual they have performed 1,000 mornings. He adjusts the pillow behind her back. She smooths the wrinkle on his sleeve. Small gestures, a language only they speak. "Promise me you'll be careful," she says. "It's just cleaning, dusting shelves, polishing silver." "Promise me anyway." He kisses her forehead, breathes in the scent of her shampoo. "I promise." Their apartment is small, 600 square feet in a brick building in North Charleston. The paint is peeling near the window. The hot water takes 3 minutes to warm. But it is clean. Photos crowd the refrigerator door. Their wedding day, the ultrasound image, a faded picture of Denise's parents. In the corner of the bedroom sits a second-hand crib. Wesley found it at a yard sale, spent 3 weekends sanding and repainting it. White, with small yellow stars stenciled along the rails. Denise cried when she saw it finished. He grabs his keys from the hook by the door. His work bag, cleaning supplies, rags, a change of clothes, his lunch in a brown paper bag, a sandwich Denise made the night before with a note tucked inside that he will not read until noon. At the door, he pauses, looks back at his wife. "I was a late adoption," Denise says suddenly. The words seem to surprise even her. Wesley frowns. "What?" "8 months old when Ruth and James took me in. Most babies get adopted right away. But I was 8 months." She stares into her coffee. "Mama Ruth always said there were complications. Never explained what that meant." Wesley returns to the table, kneels beside her chair. "Why are you thinking about this now?" Her hand moves to her belly. "I don't know. Maybe because of her. Our daughter. I keep thinking about where she comes from. Her history. What we'll tell her someday." Wesley covers her hand with his. "Her history is us, you and me. The life we're building. That's all she needs to know." Denise smiles, but something flickers behind her eyes. A shadow Wesley does not recognize. Something old, something buried. "Go," she says. "You'll be late." He kisses her once more, then steps out into the gray morning. The drive through Charleston takes 40 minutes. Wesley passes the historic district with its pastel mansions and wrought iron gates, past the waterfront where tourists snap photographs of the harbor, past the old neighborhoods where his grandmother lived before the developers came with their money and their bulldozers. He passes estates with driveways longer than the street he grew up on, houses worth more than he will earn in 10 lifetimes. Wesley does not feel envy. He feels purpose. Every dollar has a destination. Diapers, formula, a crib mattress that passed safety standards. Maybe, someday, a down payment on something with a yard, a swing set, a place where his daughter can run. He is not building wealth. He is building safety, stability, a foundation his daughter can stand on. The Callaway estate appears through a canopy of ancient oak trees. Spanish moss hangs from the branches like gray curtains. The main house sits at the end of a quarter-mile driveway. White columns, black shutters, a porch that wraps around 3 sides. Wesley pulls around to the service entrance, signs the gate log with his name and the time, 9:14 a.m. Just another rich house, he tells himself. He has no idea what is hanging on the wall inside. The housekeeper meets Wesley at the service door. She is white, mid-50s, with steel-gray hair pulled into a tight bun. Her face looks like it has forgotten how to smile decades ago. "You're the cleaner," she says. Not a question. A statement of fact. A classification. "Yes, ma'am. Wesley Monroe. The agency sent me." She looks him over. Her eyes travel from his work boots to his canvas bag to his dark skin. Her expression does not change, but Wesley feels the assessment, the judgment, the silent calculation of how much trouble he might cause. "Follow me." They walk through a service corridor, plain walls, linoleum floor, the part of the house the family never sees. Then through a door, and suddenly Wesley is in another world. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, oil paintings in gilded frames, the smell of furniture polish and fresh flowers and money. So much money it has its own scent. "The study," the housekeeper says, stopping before a heavy oak door. "Third door on the left. Dust the shelves. Polish the frames. Don't touch anything else. Don't open any drawers. Don't move any objects. Just clean what you can see." Wesley nods. He has heard this script before. Different houses, same message. You are here to serve. You are here to clean. You are not here to exist as a person. The family? Mr. Preston Callaway is in the East Wing. Do not disturb him. Do not approach him. If he speaks to you, answer briefly and return to your work. "Yes, ma'am." "Yes." She turns and walks away. Her footsteps echo on the marble. Then silence. Wesley pushes open the study door. The room smells of lemon polish and leather and old money. Dark wood paneling covers every wall. Leather chairs flank a fireplace that probably has not been lit in years. Books line the shelves. Leather-bound volumes with gold lettering. arranged by color rather than subject. Decoration, not literature. Wesley begins his work. Baseboards first, running his cloth along the edges where dust collects. Then the window sills, careful not to disturb the heavy velvet curtains. Then the shelves, working methodically around objects that cost more than his monthly rent. He moves to the wall of framed photographs. Family history on display. Black and white images of men in stiff suits and women in pearls. Factory openings with ribbon-cutting ceremonies. Politicians shaking hands with Callaways across 3 generations. A visual record of power accumulated and preserved. Wesley's cloth moves from frame to frame. Gold frames. Mahogany frames. Frames that probably cost more than his car. Then his hand stops. One frame is different from the others. Silver, not gold. Newer. Set apart from the family gallery like a secret someone could not bear to hide completely. Wesley leans closer. A black and white photograph. A young black woman, early 20s. She sits on what looks like a garden bench surrounded by blooming roses. Her head tilts slightly to the left. A soft smile plays on her lips, not posed, but genuine. Caught in a moment of private happiness. A string of pearls circles her neck, simple, elegant, the kind of pearls a man gives to a woman he loves. The brass plate beneath the frame reads, Margaret, 1984. Wesley's breath catches in his chest. He knows this face. He has kissed this face 1,000 times. He has watched this face sleep beside him for 8 years. He has seen this face light up with laughter and crumple with tears and glow with the news of their first child. The cheekbones, sharp and elegant, the slight tilt of the head. A habit Denise has never been able to break. The small birthmark near the left ear, the one Wesley traces with his finger when they lie in bed at night. That's Denise, he whispers to the empty room. That's my wife. But the brass plate says 1984. Denise was born in March of 1984. This photograph is older than his wife. The woman in the frame is 20 years old, maybe 22. And the image quality, the style, the clothing, all of it belongs to another era. The face is identical, but the woman is not his wife. His heart pounds against his ribs. His hands tremble as he reaches for his phone. He photographs the photograph. The flash reflects off the glass. Is there a problem? Wesley spins. The housekeeper stands in the doorway. Her eyes move from Wesley to the photograph to the phone in his hand. Her expression hardens. This picture, Wesley manages. His voice sounds strange in his own ears. The woman. Who is she? The housekeeper's face goes flat, completely closed. A family matter. But she looks exactly like A family matter. The words cut like a blade. Return to your work. She steps back into the hallway. Wesley hears her voice, low and urgent, speaking into a phone. He catches fragments. The cleaner. Asking about the photograph. Yes, the one in the study. No, I don't know how he... 5 minutes pass. Wesley pretends to dust. His mind races. Then footsteps approach. Confident. Measured. Unhurried. The footsteps of a man who has never been questioned in his own house. Preston Calloway III enters the study. He is tall, early 40s. Tailored suit that costs more than Wesley earns in a month. Eyes that assess Wesley like a farmer checking livestock. Cold, calculating, utterly without warmth. You're the cleaner, Preston says. Yes, sir. I know what you were doing. Preston steps closer. His cologne fills the space between them. Expensive, aggressive. I know you took a photograph with your phone. I know you were asking questions about that picture. Wesley's jaw tightens. The woman in the photograph, she looks exactly like my wife. That is none of your concern. She's identical. The same face, the same... That photograph is a family matter. Preston's voice drops, controlled, dangerous. The voice of a man accustomed to being obeyed. You are here to clean. Not to ask questions, not to take pictures, not to concern yourself with things that do not involve you. He steps closer. Close enough that Wesley can smell his breath. Close enough that the threat requires no words. Delete it. Sir, the picture on your phone. Delete it. Now. Or you will never work in Charleston again. Not cleaning. Not anything. His eyes are ice. Do you understand me? Wesley's finger hovers over his phone. He opens the photos, selects the image, watches Preston watching him. He presses delete. Preston watches the screen, nods once, straightens his tie. Finish your work. Then leave. Do not return to this property. Do not speak about what you saw. Do not contact anyone in this family. He turns and walks out without looking back. Wesley stands alone in the study. His hands shake, but his jaw is set. In his car, he opens his phone. Recently deleted folder. The photograph is still there. He recovers it. Then he searches. Harrison Calloway Sr., patriarch of the Calloway textile fortune, 78 years old, founder and former CEO, currently receiving hospice care at St. Michael's Hospice, downtown Charleston. Wesley stares at the address, then at the photograph. His wife's face, 40 years before she was born. He starts his engine. St. Michael's Hospice sits on a quiet street downtown. Red brick, white columns. The kind of place where wealthy families send their dying to fade with dignity. Wesley parks in the visitor lot. He is still wearing his work clothes. He has not been home. He cannot wait. He sits in his car, stares at the photograph on his phone. His wife's face. Margaret, 1984. Impossible, but undeniable. The front entrance has a security desk, a visitor sign-in sheet, an approved list. Wesley watches, studies the patterns. Shift change happens at 7 p.m. The side entrance opens for deliveries. At 7:12, a delivery van pulls up. The side door props open. Wesley walks in behind the driver, stride purposeful, like he belongs. No one stops him. The directory lists room 412. Calloway H. The hallway smells of antiseptic and lilies. Wesley's work boots squeak on the polished floor. His heart pounds against his ribs. Room 412. The door is slightly ajar. Wesley pushes it open. The room is private. Expensive flowers crowd every surface. Monitors beep softly. And in the bed, propped against silk pillows, lies Harrison Calloway Sr. He is thin. Oxygen tubes in his nose, skin like paper stretched over bone. But his eyes are open, alert, watching the door. Wesley freezes. He did not expect the old man to be awake. You're not a nurse. Harrison's voice is weak but clear. No, sir, I'm not. Harrison studies him, takes in the work clothes, the nervous hands, the determination in his eyes. You're the one from the estate, the one Preston called me about. Wesley blinks. He called you? My son calls me when he's scared. He doesn't get scared often, which means you found something. Wesley steps closer. His throat is dry. He pulls out his phone, shows the photograph. Mr. Calloway, I was at your mansion today, cleaning your study, and I saw this photograph on your wall. He holds the phone closer. His voice is steady despite everything. Why is my wife's photo in your mansion? Silence fills the room, only the beeping of monitors. Harrison's eyes fix on the screen. The woman's face, the pearls, the date. Something shifts in his expression. Pain, memory, a wound that never healed. Your wife, Harrison says slowly. What is her name? Denise. Denise Monroe. Her maiden name was Ward. Harrison closes his eyes. A sound escapes him. Half laugh, half sob. Ward. Ruth and James Ward. The adoption. Wesley's pulse spikes. You know about the adoption? Harrison opens his eyes, looks directly at Wesley. And in that moment, Wesley sees something he did not expect. Tears. That photograph is Margaret Ward. I took it myself. Summer of 1983. In my garden. Beat. Wesley does not breathe. I loved her, Mr. Monroe. For 3 years I loved her. She was my secretary. She was everything my wife was not. And she loved me back. Beat. In March of 1984, she gave me a daughter. The words hang in the air. Wesley feels the floor tilt beneath him. Harrison's voice drops to a whisper. Your wife, Denise, is my daughter. Wesley's legs buckle. He grabs the bed rail. The room spins. That's not possible, he manages. I wish it weren't. I've wished that every day for 40 years. But Denise was adopted. Her parents were Ruth and James Ward. They raised her, Harrison interrupts. But they didn't create her. Margaret and I did. Wesley struggles to breathe. 1,000 questions crowd his mind. Why? Why was she hidden? Why didn't you? Harrison's hand shoots out, grips Wesley's wrist with surprising strength. Listen to me. What I'm about to tell you could get you killed. Wesley forces himself to focus. When Margaret got pregnant, I was a coward. I let my family's lawyers handle everything. They paid Margaret to disappear, altered the birth certificate, arranged the adoption, made my daughter vanish like she never existed. His grip tightens. In 1996, Margaret started looking for Denise, writing letters to adoption agencies, trying to find our daughter. What happened? Harrison's face darkens. My son Preston found out. And 3 months later, Margaret was sick. 12 months after that, she was dead. Wesley's blood runs cold. Dead? How? Harrison's eyes bore into his. My son killed her, Mr. Monroe. Made it look like a car accident. Made sure there was no autopsy. Had her cremated within 24 hours. Silence. Only the monitors beeping. And if you keep asking questions, Harrison whispers, he will kill you too. Wesley cannot speak, cannot move. Harrison releases his wrist, reaches under his pillow, pulls out a worn envelope. I've kept this for 20 years, waiting for someone brave enough to use it. Inside, a photograph of Margaret in a hospital bed holding a newborn baby. On the back, handwritten, My Girls, March 3rd, 1984. And a letter, in Harrison's own hand. Denise Ward is my biological daughter. The birth certificate was altered on my family's orders. May God forgive me. Footsteps in the hallway. Approaching. Go, Harrison urges. Preston has people everywhere. Don't come back here. Wesley pockets the envelope, moves toward the door. Harrison's final words follow him out. Tell my daughter, I'm sorry I never got to hold her again. Wesley drives home in a daze. Streetlights blur past. His hands grip the wheel until his knuckles turn white. Harrison's words echo in his mind. Your wife is my daughter. My son killed her. He parks outside their apartment, sits in the darkness, tries to breathe. Inside, Denise is asleep on the couch, one hand on her belly. The television murmurs softly. Wesley touches her shoulder. Denise, we need to talk. She wakes slowly, sees his face, sits up. What happened? You look... Kitchen. Now. They sit at the table. Wesley lays out everything. The photograph from the mansion, the hospital photograph Harrison gave him, the handwritten letter. Denise reads. Her hands tremble. Her hands. The color drains from her face. This says I'm his daughter, the billionaire. Yes. And my mother? My real mother? Wesley hesitates. Then, Harrison says Preston killed her. Made it look like an accident. Denise goes still, completely terrifyingly still. Then she stands, walks to a drawer, returns with an envelope. Mama Ruth gave me this before she died, she says. Made me promise never to show anyone, not even you. She hands it to Wesley. Inside, a letter in shaky handwriting. My dearest Denise, if anyone ever comes asking about your real parents, run. Don't look back. Don't ask questions. They are dangerous people. They killed her, baby. They killed your real mother. And if you find them, they will kill you too. I love you more than life. Stay safe. Mama Ruth. Wesley looks up. She knew. Ruth knew everything. She was right. Denise's voice rises. And now you've walked straight into it. But we have proof. Proof! Denise explodes. Harrison Calloway is dying. He gave you a piece of paper. His son has lawyers, money, power, and apparently no problem killing people. She is shaking now, tears streaming. And you want to fight that? With what, Wesley? With what? With the truth. Don't you want to know who you are? The question hangs between them. Denise's voice drops to a whisper. I know who I am. I'm your wife. I'm carrying our daughter. That's who I want to be. Not some billionaire's secret mistake. Not a dead woman's ghost. Denise, if you keep going, you're on your own. I won't watch you get killed. I won't let our daughter grow up without a father. She walks to the bedroom. The door closes. The lock clicks. Wesley sits alone at the kitchen table. The evidence spread before him. Ruth's warning, his wife's ultimatum. He looks at the photograph. Margaret's face, Denise's face, the same eyes. He knows he should stop. The smart thing is to walk away. But Wesley Monroe has never been smart. He has just been stubborn. He opens his laptop, types, Charleston County Archives. Somewhere in this city, a woman named Margaret Ward was erased. Her daughter was stolen. Her murder was covered up. Wesley Monroe is going to prove it, even if it kills him. 1 week passes. Wesley sleeps on the couch. Denise speaks to him, but barely. A cold distance fills their small apartment. She makes his coffee in the morning. He leaves before she wakes. They orbit each other like strangers. Wesley needs help. He cannot navigate decades of buried records alone. The Charleston County Archives building is old, brick and limestone, the kind of government building where secrets go to gather dust. Wesley stands in the lobby, overwhelmed. Filing cabinets stretch in every direction. Computers hum with databases he does not understand. A woman approaches, mid-50s, gray hair pulled back, reading glasses on a chain around her neck. You look lost, she says, not unkindly. I'm looking for someone. A woman named Margaret Ward, records from 1984. The woman's eyes sharpen. Margaret Ward. I know that name. She worked for the Calloways, didn't she? Wesley's guard rises. How do you know that? Honey, I worked in these archives for 30 years. I know every skeleton in every closet in this county. She extends her hand. Lorraine Bassett, retired records clerk. Genealogy researcher now. Wesley Monroe. Lorraine studies him. You're not just curious, are you? This is personal. Wesley hesitates, then nods. Come with me, Lorraine says. Some records got sealed back then, but seals crack. They work together. Days turn into a week. Lorraine's home office becomes their headquarters, walls covered with genealogy charts, filing cabinets stuffed with yellowed documents. Wesley shows her Harrison's letter, but not the murder accusation. He keeps that back. Some things you do not share until you are certain. If Harrison Calloway wrote this, Lorraine says, we can prove paternity, but we need a documentation trail. They find it. First, Margaret Ward's employment file. Executive Secretary, Callaway Corporation, 1981 through 1984, hired at 20. Worked directly for Harrison Callaway Sr. Company newsletter photographs show them together at charity events, standing too close, eyes that linger too long. Not just an employee, Lorraine murmurs. A mistress, 3 years. Margaret resigned in March 1984. The same month Denise was born. Her resignation letter is stilted, formal, clearly dictated by lawyers. No forwarding address, no severance, no exit interview. She didn't leave voluntarily, Wesley says. She was removed. Then, the birth certificate. Filed at Charleston County, March 1984. Mother, Margaret Ward. Father, a blank line. But under UV light, something else appears. Harrison Callaway Sr., Lorraine reads, scratched out with black ink, but the original is still visible underneath. The alteration was made 2 weeks after filing. He acknowledged her, Wesley says, then erased himself. Took him 2 weeks to decide. He wants to tell Denise. She still will not engage. He leaves copies on the kitchen table. She reads them, says nothing. Lorraine tracks down another lead. A witness. Evelyn Tate. 71 years old. Retired nurse. Worked labor and delivery at Charleston Memorial Hospital from 1980 to 1995. Wesley visits her modest home in North Charleston. She is wary at first, a stranger asking questions about the past. Then Wesley shows her the hospital photograph, Margaret holding baby Denise. Evelyn's face softens. Margaret, I remember her. Pretty girl, scared, alone. You were there when she delivered? Night shift, March 3rd, 1984. She came in alone. No family, no husband, just scared. But someone visited, Wesley prompts. Evelyn nods slowly. Next morning, a man, expensive suit, nervous, brought pink roses. Harrison Callaway? I didn't know his name then, but I remember what he did. She pauses, her eyes grow distant. He held that baby for almost an hour, just sat there crying. I've seen a lot of fathers. That man loved that child. Then what happened? A lawyer came, young guy, slick suit, talked to Mr. Callaway in the hallway, heated. Next day, Margaret was transferred to another facility. Baby was gone. Evelyn's voice hardens. I asked about the baby. They said adopted out, like she was a piece of furniture. Wesley leans forward. Why didn't you report this? Report to who? Evelyn laughs bitterly. In 1984, a black secretary and a white millionaire? Nobody wanted that story. Nobody would have believed me. Wesley asks about Margaret's death, 1996, the car accident. Evelyn's expression changes, darker now. That accident never sat right with me. Margaret was healthy, then suddenly sick for months, then dead. Body cremated within 24 hours, no viewing, no autopsy. Who handled the arrangements? The son, Preston. He had access everywhere, hospital, funeral home, records office, unusual access for someone who wasn't family. Wesley files this away. It aligns with Harrison's accusation. Evelyn grabs his hand. Her grip is strong. You find her daughter. You tell her someone remembered, someone cared. Wesley meets her eyes. I already found her. She's my wife. Tears spill down Evelyn's weathered face. Then you fight for her, whatever it takes. That girl deserves to know where she comes from. If you have ever had someone try to erase your family's history, you understand what Wesley is fighting for. Stay with him. The truth is coming. Wesley drives home with a box of evidence: employment records, birth certificate, Evelyn's testimony. 40 years of secrets slowly surfacing. He does not know that someone has been watching his every move, reporting every discovery, and her name is Lorraine. Day 16. Wesley's phone buzzes at 6 a.m. First call, the hotel manager. Wesley, I'm sorry. Your position has been eliminated, effective immediately. What? But I've worked there for... It's out of my hands. Good luck. Click. Second call, 8 a.m. The office building supervisor. We're going in a different direction. Third call, 10 a.m. The estate cleaning agency. Your contract has been terminated. 3 jobs, gone in 4 hours. Wesley sits at his kitchen table, stares at the termination emails. Same week, same vague language, same result. This is not coincidence. This is a campaign. He drives past Whitmore Legal Group. Preston Calloway's car sits in the parking lot. Wesley understands. Preston is dismantling his life, piece by piece, until there is nothing left. He calls Lorraine. They're coming after me, fired from all 3 jobs. Oh no. Her voice drips with concern. That's terrible. Be careful, Wesley. These people are powerful. I need to see those other files we talked about. The ones you said might take time. Come by tomorrow. I'll have everything ready. Her voice sounds off, but Wesley is too stressed to notice. The next day, he goes to Lorraine's house. Knocks. No answer. The door is unlocked. Lorraine? It's Wesley. The house is empty, but her computer is open on the desk. Email visible on the screen. Wesley glances at it. Freezes. From Preston Calloway III. To Lorraine Bassett. Subject, Ree Monroe. Progress report, week 3. Continue providing documents as discussed. Keep him focused on the employment records and birth certificate. But the autopsy report stays sealed. He cannot know how Margaret really died. Not yet. Not until we've neutralized the threat. Wire transfer of $15,000 confirmed to your account. Wesley's blood turns to ice. He scrolls through the emails. Weeks of correspondence. Every discovery he made, reported within hours. Every question he asked, documented and sent to Preston. She was never helping him. She was handling him. Wesley photographs the emails, leaves before Lorraine returns. In his car, his hands shake. One phrase echoes in his mind. Autopsy report. Margaret's death was not an accident. Harrison was right. Preston killed her and buried the proof. His phone rings. Denise's number. Wesley. Her voice is breaking. Something's wrong. The baby. I'm bleeding. Wesley breaks every speed limit. The ambulance is already there when he arrives. Denise on a stretcher. Paramedics working around her. Preterm labor, one of them says. Stress-induced. We need to move. Wesley rides with her, holds her hand, prays for the first time in years. Charleston Women's Hospital. Emergency room. Hours of waiting. Finally, a doctor emerges. We've stabilized her. The baby is okay. For now. Wesley nearly collapses. But her blood pressure is dangerously high, the doctor continues. She needs complete rest. Whatever stress is causing this, it has to stop. Wesley enters her room. Denise is pale, exhausted, hooked to monitors. She looks at him, not with anger, with fear. I thought I was going to lose her, she whispers. You didn't. You're both okay. This has to stop, Wesley. Whatever you're doing, it has to stop. He wants to argue. but looking at his wife, at his unborn daughter's heartbeat on the monitor, he cannot find the words. "I know," he says. She closes her eyes, falls asleep. Wesley sits in the chair beside her. His phone buzzes. Unknown number. A text. "Walk away now. This is your only warning." He deletes it, but his hands are shaking. Wesley faces the same representatives of the Calloway family's interests at every turn. Through their attorneys at Whitmore Legal Group, the family declined to comment on any allegations, stating only that the Calloways have always conducted their business and personal affairs with integrity. Hospital room. 3 a.m. Wesley sits in a plastic chair, has not moved in hours. Cold coffee in his hand, eyes fixed on the heart monitor. Beep, beep, beep. Denise sleeps. The lines on her face have softened, but Wesley cannot forget how she looked in the ambulance, the fear, the blood, the way she whispered their daughter's name like a prayer. He runs through his inventory of losses. 3 jobs, gone. No income. Rent due in 2 weeks. An ally who was a traitor. Every secret he shared sold for $15,000. A wife who almost lost their baby because of him. Because he would not stop. No one to trust. No one to call. No one coming to help. The thought spirals, darkens. I should have listened to her. Should have stopped. Wesley walks to the window. Charleston sleeps below. Streetlights glow orange. Somewhere out there, the Calloway estate sits in darkness. Somewhere out there, Preston Calloway thinks he has won. Wesley sees his reflection in the glass, exhausted, broken, alone. He reaches for his phone, ready to call Diane Crawford, the attorney he researched, and tell her it is over. Then he stops. A memory surfaces. James Ward, Denise's adoptive father. Wesley met him once, briefly, before he died. James had been a quiet man, worked 30 years in the shipyard, raised a daughter who was not his by blood but was his in every way that mattered. Wesley had asked him for Denise's hand. Old-fashioned, maybe, but James was an old-fashioned man. "A Monroe doesn't run from the truth," James had said. "A Monroe runs toward it." Wesley had laughed nervously. "Sir, I'm not a Monroe by birth." James had smiled. "You married my daughter. That makes you family, and family doesn't quit." The memory fades. Wesley looks at Denise, at the monitors, at the life they are fighting to protect. Then he looks at the photograph in his pocket. Margaret Ward, a woman who tried to find her daughter and died for it. Wesley makes silent promises. To Denise, "I will keep you safe." To Margaret, "I will prove what they did to you." To his unborn daughter, "You will know where you come from." Wesley Monroe does not pray. He makes promises, and he has never broken one. He sits back down, keeps watch. Dawn light creeps through the window, gray, then gold. Denise's eyes flutter open, focus on him. "You're still here," she whispers. "Always." A long pause. She reaches for his hand. First real touch in over a week. "You found out about Lorraine, didn't you? She called here, left a message, said she was sorry." Sorry doesn't cover it. Silence stretches between them. Then Denise speaks. "I was wrong to make you choose. If they killed my mother, if they did what you say, then I need to know. I can't live the rest of my life wondering." Wesley's heart clenches. "What are you saying?" Denise squeezes his hand. "We finish this. Together. But you have to promise me we do it smart. We do it careful. And if it gets too dangerous, we stop. I promise. Then go find the truth." She pulls his hand to her lips, kisses his knuckles. "But come back to me." This is where most people would stop. This is where the smart money walks away. But Wesley Monroe has never played the odds. And what he is about to discover will change everything. Day 22. Wesley's phone rings, Lorraine's number. He almost does not answer. "Please don't hang up." Her voice cracks. "I know what I did. I need to make it right." Wesley's jaw tightens. "You have 30 seconds. Meet me. I'll give you everything. The autopsy report, the proof of what Preston did to Margaret." Silence. Then, "Why should I trust you?" "Because when I found out what he really did, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't look at myself. The money isn't worth this." Wesley meets her at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. Lorraine looks 10 years older. Guilt has hollowed her cheeks, darkened the circles under her eyes. She slides an envelope across the table. Wesley does not touch it. "Talk first." Lorraine takes a shaky breath. "Preston contacted me 2 years ago. Said he needed someone to monitor anyone who came asking about Margaret Ward. Paid me $50,000 overtime. I thought it was just protecting family reputation. Rich people stuff." She looks down at her hands. "When you showed up, he told me to help you. Give you enough to keep you hooked. But certain files were off limits, especially the autopsy report." "Why?" "I didn't know. Didn't want to know." She meets his eyes. "But last week I looked, and I can't unknow what I saw." Wesley opens the envelope. A medical examiner's report. Margaret Ward, August 14th, 1996. Official cause of death. Motor vehicle accident, blunt force trauma. But there is another section. Stamped, sealed. Additional findings. Elevated lead levels in blood. 68 micrograms per deciliter. Toxic threshold is 40. Elevated lead levels in bone tissue consistent with chronic exposure. Estimated duration of exposure, 12 to 18 months. Finding? Death likely resulted from cumulative lead poisoning. Motor vehicle accident was proximate but not sole cause. Report sealed by family request. No criminal investigation initiated. Wesley reads it twice. 3 times. "Lead poisoning," he says. 18 months. Lorraine nods. "It's murder. Slow, deliberate. Almost untraceable, unless someone looks. Preston poisoned her. In 1995, Margaret started writing to adoption agencies, looking for Denise. Preston found out." Wesley's hands shake. "Why didn't she tell anyone? Go to a doctor?" "She did. The doctors told her stress, anemia. The tests that would have caught it were never ordered. Preston knew people at the hospital." Wesley stares at the report. Lead in her food. Lead in her water. 18 months of slow death. Preston Calloway did not silence Margaret Ward. He executed her. Diane Crawford enters the coffee shop. Wesley called her earlier. She reviews the documents. Her face hardens. "This changes everything. We're not just fighting for inheritance, we're exposing a murderer." Wesley looks at Lorraine. "This doesn't forgive what you did." "I know." Tears spill down her cheeks. "I just want it to matter." Day 28. Charleston County Courthouse. The emergency inheritance hearing begins at 9 a.m. Judge Harold Brennan presiding. Gray-haired, sharp-eyed, a reputation for fairness. Wesley and Denise sit at the plaintiff's table. Diane Crawford stands ready. Across the aisle, Preston Calloway III and a team of Whitmore legal attorneys. Expensive suits, confident smiles. Diane presents the evidence. Employment file, birth certificate, nurse testimony. Harrison's letter. The autopsy report. Preston's team objects at every turn. Most evidence is admitted anyway. Then the judge calls for DNA results. Court-ordered test. Chain of custody verified. Results sealed until this moment. Diane stands, opens the envelope. Your Honor, the DNA results. Probability of paternity between Harrison Calloway Sr. and Denise Monroe. She stops, reads again. Her face drains of color. Probability of paternity, 0.01%. Gasps fill the courtroom. Wesley's stomach drops. Denise grabs his hand. Preston smiles. For the first time since this began, he smiles. Your Honor, Preston's attorney rises. The science is clear. There is no biological relationship. This is nothing but a shakedown by opportunists. Judge Brennan's face is grim. Based on the DNA evidence presented, the court finds the paternity claim unsupported. Case dismissed. The gavel falls. Wesley cannot move, cannot breathe. Preston walks past them, pauses, leans close. I told you to walk away, he whispers. You should have listened. He straightens his tie, walks out. Denise buries her face in Wesley's chest, crying. Everything they fought for, gone. Outside the courthouse, Wesley sits on a bench, numb. His phone rings. Unknown number. Mr. Monroe, this is Evelyn Tate. Mrs. Tate, it's over. We lost. Not yet, you haven't. I saw something the night before those results came in. Wesley straightens. What did you see? My sister works security at the medical center. She showed me the parking garage footage. The night before your results were announced, Preston Calloway met someone in that garage. Who? A lab technician, man named Gerald Foster. I'm looking at the video right now. Timestamp 11:38 p.m. Preston hands him an envelope. You can see the cash inside. Clear as day. Wesley's heart pounds. He bribed the lab. I'm sending you the video. Wesley forwards it to Diane Crawford immediately. She files an emergency motion. Evidence tampering. Demand for independent DNA testing. Judge Brennan is furious. Corruption in his courtroom. He grants the motion immediately. New test. Independent laboratory. Court-supervised chain of custody. No Calloway access. 1 week later. Day 35. Results arrive. Diane reads them aloud. Her voice steady now. Probability of paternity between Harrison Calloway Sr. and Denise Ward Monroe, 99.98%. Wesley exhales. Denise squeezes his hand. We request the case be reopened, Diane says. Preston's attorneys scramble. Object, demand delays. Judge Brennan cuts them off. The original test was compromised by criminal tampering. The new evidence stands. Preston rises. Your Honor, my father is incapacitated. He cannot confirm or deny. The courtroom doors swing open. A wheelchair, an oxygen tank, and Harrison Calloway Sr., not unconscious, not unresponsive, awake, alert. A hospice nurse pushes him down the center aisle. Every head turns, every voice falls silent. Preston goes pale. Father, you can't be here. You're not well enough. I'm dying, Preston. Harrison's voice is weak but carries through the courtroom. But I'm not dead, and I'm not silent. Not anymore. Judge Brennan leans forward. Mr. Calloway, are you here to provide testimony? I am, Your Honor. The nurse wheels him to the witness area. Harrison's eyes find Denise. He has not seen his daughter in 40 years. Tears stream down his weathered face. You look just like her, he whispers. Just like Margaret. Denise is crying too. Why? Why did you abandon us? Harrison's voice breaks. Cowardice. Weakness. I told myself I was protecting you. I was protecting myself. From scandal, from my family, from facing what I'd done. He straightens in his chair, turns to face the court. In 1984, I had a daughter with a woman named Margaret Ward. I loved Margaret. I was too weak to protect her. My family's lawyers arranged everything. They paid her to disappear, altered the birth certificate, erased my daughter from existence. His voice hardens. I've carried that shame for 40 years. He looks at Preston, his own son, the monster he created. In 1996, Margaret tried to find our daughter. She wrote letters, made inquiries. My son discovered this. Harrison's hands gripped the armrests of his wheelchair. And my son, Preston Calloway III, murdered Margaret Ward. He poisoned her over 18 months, lead in her food, lead in her water, slow enough to look like illness, then staged a car accident to finish what the poison started. Preston is on his feet. These are lies. Father, you're confused. I am a coward, Preston. I have been my entire life, but I am not a liar, and I will not meet my maker with Margaret's blood on my hands. Harrison produces documents from a folder in his lap. Bank records showing payments to the staff who administered the poison. Pharmacy records for lead compounds. Instructions in my son's handwriting. I've kept everything. For 20 years, waiting for this moment. Judge Brennan reviews the documents. His face is stone. Preston Calloway III, based on this testimony and supporting evidence, you are remanded into custody pending investigation on charges of first-degree murder. You can't do this! Father! Harrison looks at his son one last time. I created you. I indulged you. I let you become a monster. This is the only way I know to stop you. Bailiffs approach. Handcuffs click around Preston's wrists. He is led away. His eyes never leave his father's face. Harrison turns to Denise, reaches out a trembling hand. 40 years too late. I know. But you are my daughter, and I am so sorry. Denise hesitates, then takes his hand. Judge Brennan speaks. The court recognizes Denise Ward Monroe as the biological daughter of Harrison Calloway Sr. and rightful heir to her portion of the Calloway estate. The gavel falls. Wesley holds his wife as she shakes with sobs. It is over. 6 months later. A small house in North Charleston. Not a mansion. Wesley refused to move to the estate. That house has too many ghosts, he said. Denise agreed. The living room is modest, clean, filled with light. And on the wall, in an ornate silver frame, hangs the photograph. Margaret Ward, summer 1983. Young, beautiful, full of hope. The brass plate now reads, Margaret Ward, beloved mother, 1961 to 1996. Denise stands before it, holding a baby, 3 months old. Dark eyes, soft curls. Her name is Margaret Ruth Monroe, for both mothers, the one who gave her life and the one who raised her. Harrison died 3 weeks after the trial. Peaceful. Denise was at his bedside. His last words, You have her smile. Take care of it. Preston awaits trial for first-degree murder. No bail, no visitors. Lorraine Bassett testified for the prosecution. She lives quietly now. Evelyn Tate received the first Margaret Ward Foundation scholarship for nursing students. Wesley joins Denise at the photograph, puts his arm around her. She'll grow up knowing where she comes from, Denise says, and who fought for her. Baby Margaret opens her eyes, same eyes as the woman in the photograph. 3 generations of women. Finally, together. The photograph is black and white. His wife's face, his daughter's wall, a dead woman's truth. Finally, home. The dead cannot testify, but the dying can. And sometimes, love leaves evidence. If this story reminded you that some truths are worth fighting for, share it. Someone out there needs to hear it. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe. We tell one every week. Wesley Monroe walked into a billionaire's mansion with a mop and a paycheck. He walked out with everything that mattered, and a photograph that finally found its way home.